I've been wanting to work with Frantic for a long time, and it's mainly been other projects and time which has prevented us doing it. And actually finding the right time and the right subject for a play, really. So I had such a great time working with them on Tiny Dynamite, and I think I write very differently for them. You know, I often write for actors or maybe even directors in film and television, but I don't often do that for theatre. So, and I feel I write very bespoke plays for Frantic, and so it was really also about me having the time and the mental space to think about, you know, tailoring quite a fine suit for them, really. So that was really what brought us back together, and that's why it's been such a long stretch. And also in another way, also I find plays a lot harder to write now than I used to. So it's a certain kind of, definitely get the fear about playwriting. So I think it's I think that they've lured me back. I think theatre is the place of language and ideas, and I think film and television, it's about plot and story. That's not to say that both of those things don't overlap. And for me, with theatre, it feels quite much more singular and much more authored, and really you have to have something to say. And so I often feel that I'm trying to give a sense of theme in film and television, often through the visual, whereas I think with theatre, you know, what you really have is language. I think it's a celebration. I think it's a celebration of the power of two, and that the notion that you fall in and out of love with someone, but that what remains and what stays is a sort of core sense of connectedness, and that there's something very profound that you know you come into your world on your own, and as you leave the world you're surrounded by people helping you out. The joy of working with Scott and Stephen, as they tap away on their computers in the background and listen to this, but I think the joy of working with them is that they're complete amateurs, and I can bring something professional to the game. No, I think what's great about them is that I think they're very confident in themselves. Some may say cocky. And so as a result, they are very uninhibited, very open to you being in as much or as little as you need to be in terms of that collaborative process. You know, I think what's interesting in terms of, I find as a writer, and I find it more in television and film, where, you know, I think when you go on set, your job is kind of done and you spend most of the time talking to the catering staff. You know, in theatre it's great because you're just watching something grow and evolve, but there is still that sense that it has to grow a little without you. So I think it's a balance between, I tend to come in at the beginning, which is, you know, particularly when I'm shaping the script and when we're leading up to actually having the script published as well, because to a certain degree that's the script set for future productions. And then I think there's probably a period in the middle where I like to go away and just see what happens, really. And then I come around again at the end, and just a bit more as an observer, I think, less as a kind of critical voice, just more as someone who can, you know, just for me to see that it's gone, you know, made its way home. I mean, I've always described, for me, writing is a bit like, or plays for me are like a bit like a baby. You know, you give birth to a bit of an ugly baby sometimes, and you just hope someone else will love it and bring it up. So there's a process of kind of adoption that goes on, and actually, you know, nature nurture, and they nurture it, and it becomes what it is. So it's a balance really between those, you know, between being involved but also knowing when to step back.